Welcome to our Wednesday Season 2 trailer reaction mini show here. I'm Micah, and I'm joined by Pam and Laura, and we just actually finished recording an episode of What the Hype talking about You, and during that because you know they're so similar, You and Wednesday, in terms of the lighthearted content, that we said, given that this trailer dropped today, why not take a few minutes and discuss Wednesday Season 2, at least what we've seen of it so far. Pam, Laura, what were your initial reactions to this trailer?
I thought the music choice was very inspired. But also, you know, I think a lot of it being a teaser, was really about just setting the scene for the vibe. So the opening scene we get is Wednesday trying to clear TSA security, and she's pulling out every pointy weapon that you can imagine possible that she has on her person, which feels very on brand for her. But she also had Thing in her little satchel, and the lyric that it got to in the song, where it was talking about, these are a few of my favorite things, it happened to fall just as they discovered Thing in her little satchel. I thought that was fun.
Yeah. So funny that the TSA was more bothered by the sunscreen than like any of the weaponry or Thing.
Feels very on brand.
On
though.
brand. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. They get really fussy about the smallest things.
Yeah. Sunscreen specifically.
Yeah.
I once tried to take an aerosol sunscreen through. You would have thought that I was trying to carry a bomb through.
Yeah.
I got a few chuckles out of that scene as well, and I do believe it was very much on brand that Wednesday could take all of these things out of her baggage, but it was only the sunscreen, probably being in a little bit too big of a sized container, that ultimately got her flagged. But it's Thing's fault too at the end of the day. What's he doing? Looking to get a little bit of a tan there.
Trying to prevent sun cancer, or like skin cancer.
He's just trying to keep his skin healthy.
Right. He wants to prevent wrinkles.
I would be curious though, where is Wednesday coming from, or where is she going to?
That's true. I mean, like, the assumption is she's going back to Nevermore, but they didn't make it seem like she had to fly there the first season. Right? Because she says like, oh, like was it Morticia says that this is the first school that she's wanted to go back to, and she was like, oh, it's like returning to the scene of the crime, and I know where all the bodies are buried, so it's fine. But yeah, the first we see of her going there in season 1 is that she's just in a car with her parents, so who knows, maybe can we imagine the Adamses on vacation somewhere?
That'd be
Sunny.
hilarious.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen a cartoon version of that somewhere. Like, there was a cartoon Addams Family at some point, right? And I feel like I remember an episode where they went to the beach,
just trying to like diving into a pool or something like that.
Isn't it too, like when they go to camp? I feel like
and Addams Family Values.
Yes. Because I remember Pugsley
Nicole
wearing
Richie?
With Christina Ricci.
Christina Ricci, yes, thank you, not Nicole.
who also was in season 1 of the show.
Yeah. Well, speaking of like guest stars, like the trailer does give us a little glimpse of Steve Buscemi. I don't know if you all caught that. He's the new Nevermore principal. So, you know, Gwendolyn Christie, R.I.P. I guess if you're watching this, you kind of know, but she did a great job. But it's fun that they're getting somebody else that is recognizable in that role. And speaking of the Addams Family movies that came out in the 90s, I think as 90s kids, we're all very familiar with those. I know that Christopher Lloyd is also signed on to be part of season 2, and he played Uncle Fester and Values. So that's really fun.
Yeah, that will be cool. Mm-hmm. I also noticed that we got to see, and forgive me, I'm forgetting his name, her love interest from last season.
Tyler,
yeah. So we get to see him a little bit. He's not looking well.
Business. Yeah.
Well, she comes face to face with him, right? Towards the end of the trailer. Looks in
like
his
it, yeah.
Hyde form. So curious to see how that plays out. And then I couldn't tell, there seemed to be some other beast at the very end of the trailer. It looked like a bird or some kind of flying creature. I couldn't tell who or what that was. I'm sure we'll find out during the season, but that was kind of cool to see.
Yeah. She also reunites with Enid as well, so it looks like we'll have that duo back again.
I loved Enid.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a werewolf, right?
Yeah, she is. She's a good, they balance each other out really well because they're two extremes, so they kind of have to meet in the middle.
Speaking of Addams Family values, it reminded me when she gives Enid the doll and she says that it's made from real human hair. There's this line that Wednesday has when she's interacting with the Girl Scouts where she asks if they're actually made from real Girl Scouts. So I wondered if that was a little play off of that moment.
That's a good catch. Maybe
it's funny.
It is. Yeah.
Probably, because we know there were lots of little things like that in season 1 where they were paying homage to the old properties.
Yeah. Did y'all feel like they upped the creep factor and the horror factor this time around? Like, I felt like this gave more horror, like traditional horror vibes. Maybe it was the dolls.
Dolls always give the creep factor.
Yeah. Especially dolls that move themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Creepy dolls with like the eyes that roll, that move their own heads. Like, no, thank you.
Were we meant to believe that she was sitting at the opposite end of the table from that doll?
Oh, maybe. In that scene where she's tied up, right?
Yeah.
Possible.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Now, we did get to see 2 other members of the Addams family. It looks like Pugsley is going to be going to Nevermore as well. He's got the jacket on in one of the shots as he's getting out of the car. So that could be a really interesting addition to Wednesday's time at the school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's interesting too, because the reason that she gets expelled from the school she's in when the first season starts is because she doesn't want anyone picking on her baby brother except for her, right? So she goes after his bullies.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see.
Is that the piranhas in the water?
Yeah, the piranhas in the water. Yeah, what a way to introduce her character too. Yeah, that's incredible. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, like, maybe Pugsley is like actually more popular than she is at a school where everybody is a bit of an outcast, and is more like them than a traditional high school. So.
And we're also briefly introduced to Grandmama in a scene.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She looks pretty badass, actually. She doesn't look like the Grandmama I remember from the TV show.
Definitely not.
No.
I'm curious to see how she gets woven into the story.
Yeah, they had like there's a couple of bigger quotes that they give us as part of the teaser, and I know one right at the end is Morticia saying every family has dark secrets and secrets can have deadly consequences. So I have a feeling that Grandmama might know more than she lets on, and maybe that's why she comes into play here.
I wonder what the family secret is.
Well, they were also a big part of why the string of murders started up, too, in the first season. So
true.
Yeah. Lots to play around with here.
Ham, I know earlier you mentioned Steve Buscemi and then Christopher Lloyd, but another person who we know is going to be in this season is Lady Gaga. And I'm curious what her role is going to be. We don't see her in the trailer, but from everything that we've been able to read, she is going to be a part of season 2.
Yeah, I think that's so fun that they were able to get her, because obviously that kind of came as a result of the virality of Wednesday's dance at the school prom or whatever it was. And so I think that it's really cool that she was game to have a little bit of fun and go on the show.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, and we know Gaga is pretty game to do stuff like that. She's appeared. Yeah. She's had special guest roles on other stuff like American Horror Story. So
She loves camp.
Yeah, I feel like this is right up her alley. She'll probably play like a music teacher or something.
That would be cool. Yeah. Someone else I'm excited for. I don't know if either of you are Doctor Who fans, but I know Billie Piper is also signed on to appear.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she plays. For anybody who doesn't remember, she plays Rose Tyler in the Tennant years or the 10 years of Doctor Who, and also in the
Crouch Junior
Eccleston years. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like I hardly see her in anything these days, or she's a little more picky and choosy about her projects. So it'll be fun to see how she pops up as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So when does it come out?
August 6th is the part 1 of season 2, because we always got to break things up now. But you don't have to wait that long. It's only September 3rd when part 2 of season 2 will drop.
Okay.
And fittingly, both of those dates are Wednesdays.
Oh.
Just like today is a Wednesday. They dropped the promo.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's
what
funny.
A marketing ploy. See?
I know.
Making Wednesdays cool again. Make Wednesday cool again.
Yeah.
Anything else that kind of jumps out, though, before we wrap up this kind of mini episode? I think we didn't get a whole lot, at least as far as I could take away, in terms of the plot for season 2. It was more to get people hyped up. And if we didn't mention it earlier, we also get to see Morticia. We get to see Uncle Fester in the bathtub. We get to see Gomez. And also one of the other schoolmates, Bianca. She's a siren. She pops up in this trailer.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But overall, it was definitely something to whet the appetite a little bit. Even though we're still about 4 months out from
I think
it premiering.
This did everything that a teaser trailer is supposed to do, right? Because there's a difference between a teaser trailer and a full-length trailer. So it really kind of, like, this is a great introduction to season 2. This allowed us to check in on so many of the fan favorite returning characters that we love, and gave us a tiny little glimpse of what we can expect. So I think they did a great job of, to your point, whetting the appetite, and it'll be fun to see them expand on this a little bit more in the full length trailer, which I'm sure will be coming sometime between now and when the first half of the season drops. So yeah.
On a Wednesday.
Yeah. Some other point in time on a Wednesday, you could probably expect us to react to the full-length trailer.
Yep. Well, cool. I'm looking forward to it. And it'll be really fun to cover this season of Wednesday on What the Hype. And I'm sure as we get closer, we'll probably do a recapping season 1 episode just to get y'all up to speed before we cover season 2.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much, y'all. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.